Welcome to another. Oh, well, this isn't supposed to be up. Welcome to another episode of the ABL review. Here we are talking about week 2 of the ABL Champions League. Let's hop into the battles. We've got my battle versus Ishii. Now you sometimes I try to go in terms of interest or how close the battles were. I'm not doing that this time. I just also like to lead off my battle to get it out of the way. So we're gonna hop. Oh, whoops! Oh, I did it without the noise sound muted. There we go. Sorry about that. So I led with Palafin. Got to get Palafin going early. Palafin has a pretty good matchup here, and I will say Ishii brought entirely a different team than I anticipated. I expected both evolutions to be here to slow me down. Although I knew Sinistro would be here, and I knew Skarmory would be here. Those were locked in, but I also kind of expected Delphox. So very different team than I had anticipated, and that really caught me off guard. As evident by I go out to Kangaskhan here, get caught with a super effective Drain Punch. Now, obviously the disable's nice, but I realized based on that damage, this is not an offensive Kangaskhan. It's a very defensive Kangaskhan. So this is obviously the check to Mega Frostlass. This is probably like Citrus Berry special defensive. I can say that with a lot of confidence now that I've done the whole battle, so I know. I'm going to get up the Aurora Veil as Glamora comes out. I'm going to go hard into Excadrill as Glamora Mega Evolves and Rock Polishes. Not what I was anticipating here. I was a little bit worried because I actually messed up the calc. I thought this might still kill me through screens. I knew it had a 50% chance to kill me from full without the screens, but I didn't calc the screens. So in hindsight, I would have liked to try to get rocks immediately, but I didn't end up doing that. I just went for the Earthquake, which is stupid because obviously Skarmory was going to come in. Mega Frostlass is going to come in as spikes go up. It's not great for me, but I am just going to go ahead and fire off a Blizzard, do a pretty good chunk of damage to Kangaskhan there. Maybe it's not. You know what? I didn't calc if this is especially defensive or not, but obviously Kangaskhan is the check for me, and this Rotom Heat was here to deal with Sylveon, and Sylveon's not here, so that makes it expendable. That's one of the interesting things about being totally surprised with a team. Some things, their value really changes. Obviously, the things I weren't expecting to be here, Gengar I wasn't going to rule out, but this was here specifically for Sylveon. It's not here. It doesn't cover Glamora, which I wasn't totally anticipating. But so it's okay, I guess you're used for Kangaskhan now. Glamora does come out as I go for a Discharge. Unfortunately, don't get the Discharge pair, which really kind of stinks, but it is what it is. So I take that Earth Power. That's a pretty low roll on the Earth Power, or this is just Timid. Probably Timid. And I am going to try to... Yep, I went for the Rapid Spin just as a Hail Mary, because he might kill me. He also might not know if I'm Choice Scarf or not. So able to get the Rapid Spin off, which I wanted to try to keep spikes away if I could. And I end up just kind of going Rapid Spin for Spike here for a while, because I know I can't 1v1 this Skarmory. And he ends up taking me out with the Body Press, which just gives me a free switch in to... Oh, I took Rotom Heat. Now, at this point, I'm going to say I made a misplay. I guess not yet, but Body Press spikes, Figure 1's Roost. I just got to figure out what that last move is. Once I know what the last move is, I could potentially just wall this Skarmory, but I am going to force a switch and go for, I believe, another Discharge here, and a second time don't get the Discharge pair, which is unfortunate luck. Pizza Rolls is going to go out here. A longtime member of the ABL, or of the Brooklyn Bonnets. We love Pizza Rolls here in Brooklyn. So good news about this, about staying in versus the Glamora. It didn't have a chance to get up a Rock Polish. If it had, would have been kind of unfortunate. I mean, I guess I have Palafin, but Palafin doesn't have a lot of runway right now. With basically everything, with the exception of Kangaskhan and Glamora being at full health. I really need to get some chip there. Frostlass I'm going to come in with. I'm just going to go ahead and fire off another Blizzard. Does really well against everything on the team. Gengar's gonna come in. Now I'm worried about a Choice Scarf here. So in addition to the Rotom Heat not being it being the thing it was the counter for not being here, same thing with Toxicroak. Toxicroak doesn't have a lot of utility in this. This was here specifically for Umbreon. And the answer's not here. So takes that Dazzling Gleam pretty well. I am max HP, get HP back with the leftovers. So I know a little bit about this Gengar now. I can't actually touch this Gengar, but I am really just trying to suss out if it's Choice Scarf or not. So Skarmory's gonna come in as I do go for the substitute. Either I was gonna get KO'd there or, you know, be able to get up a free substitute. So I figured that was pretty safe. And at this point, I want him to go for Brave Bird. I want to see if he's got Brave Bird. And he's gonna go ahead and get up the spikes. Nothing I can do about that, so I'm just gonna have to play around it. I'm gonna take a second bulk up to see the Iron Defense. Now at this point, I just should have gone hard into Frostlass, but also if I can get some recovery on Toxicroak, I should be taking it. So we're just gonna skip a couple of turns here. A lot of Iron Defenses and bulk ups. I do get kind of unlucky here in a second, because we get crit body press. That breaks my sub. Pretty unfortunate because it wouldn't have otherwise. Gonna substitute again as he gets a second crit body press in a row. So if he hadn't crit both of those body presses, I'd be almost at 100% HP. But you know, that's the way things go sometimes. And he's gonna go for another body press there. That time it doesn't break. And I'm gonna get my last bulk up here. He's gonna break it with a final body press. And I'm just gonna try to Drain Punch, just kind of whittle this. Oh no, I guess I go for one more substitute since I know it's not gonna break one. And now I'm just gonna try to, you know, whittle this Skarmory down as much as possible with Drain Punches. Obviously not doing a lot, and with the leftovers recovering stuff, I'm not making a ton of headway, but just gonna try to get it down. And that's when I realize, or actually I think it's on the next turn maybe. He's probably got Roost. There's no, I don't think there's any way you run this set without Roost, right? So once he reveals Roost, now I know I can very safely go out to Mega Frostlass. This is totally walled. Sure, he gets up second layer of spikes. Toxicroak's essentially done, but that's fine. I do go for the Thunderbolt here, because it's going to be my strongest move versus Skarmory, and it covers this. I knew he wasn't going to go Sinistra after showing how often I clicked Blizzard. Quaquaval is going to come in. Could have been in trouble if that was in fact the Scarfer, but at this point I'm banking on Gengar being the Scarfer. Probably too risky of a thing to do, but I'm just kind of trusting my reads. So it'll take out Quaquaval. Those rocks are going to be up for the rest of the battle. Kangaskhan's going to come in, trigger its Citrus Berry. And I'm going to just kind of sack Toxicroak here. There's not a lot that I'm worried about. Like, Toxicroak can just die. If I am going to go for a Poison Jab there, just in case like he went into Sinistra or Gengar predicting the Drain Punch. Again, into Mega Frostlash, just because I know I can wall this thing all day. And that's, I think this is a bad play by him. I think he ends up doubling later in the battle. We'll see. This is a turn he should have doubled. This Iron Defense doesn't make any sense to do, because now that I've determined I can beat him with the Frostlass, that's just a free turn. I think he should have tried to double there and catch me. Kangaskhan's gonna come back in, so now it has to take a Blizzard here, and I can. Oh yeah, he goes for a Fake Out here, and that at this point I realize like, oh, he's probably got Sucker Punch too. Almost certainly has Sucker Punch. So let me just try to get up Veil. And I do manage to get a Veil on his Sucker Punch. I'm still going to go down to the Sucker Punch, but at least I got some more value out of Ruby there. Hydreigon's going to come in. Now, Hydreigon I was afraid it was going to be a bad bring just due to the fact that he does have a Sylveon, but Sylveon's not here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Dark Pulse. I know it's going to be able to get a KO on something, and Skarmory's going to go down. Gengar is going to come in. This now, to me, is guaranteeing that he is Choice Scarf. I calc Dazzling Gleam. I have a chance to live through. I have a pretty good chance to live through the Veil here. But I didn't want to risk it. I'm just going to let the Toxicroak go down, especially because that Rocks hit is all I needed to guarantee that Gengar would be within range of Jet Punch. So at this point, I really need to make sure I conserve Hydreigon because it's the only way I can beat Sinistcha. And here you do see he goes for the double. He is checking to see if I am Choice Scarf because I haven't revealed a Scarfer yet. Actually, no, couldn't be that. I mean, maybe he was just scouting for that play, which I guess doesn't hurt anything. Now he's going to bring in the Gengar, and I just want to see what he's going to lock himself into. There's nothing he can lock himself into here that's going to be a big problem for me. I'm going to go into Hydreigon. Now, this is a... If he is, in fact, not Choice Scarf, if he is just like... I don't know. Like, if he's some other item, like Spell Tag or Poison Barb or something, this is a bad play by me. So, little risky. But I didn't want to give his Sinistcha a chance to get up a a Calm Mind. So... he's going to go for Sludge Wave. It's not a 2-hit KO. I know he's locked into Sludge Wave, so he can't go for Dazzling Gleam. And I'm going to get the KO with Dark Pulse. Crit obviously didn't matter, but the Curse Body does kind of matter. Puts me in not a great spot. I had to kind of consider, okay, do I want to get the Dark Pulse back? But it's like, what if he's Colbur Berry? That's bad for me. So I'm just going to try to get some damage off. I just need to try to keep him low. Matcha Gotcha isn't doing a lot of damage, and Flamethrower, because of Heat Proof, also isn't doing a lot of damage. But Draco Meteor is going to be enough to follow up and KO. I only need... if I had missed that and he Strength Saps or something, and then start setting up Calm Minds, then I'm in a bad spot. But I felt like this was my best play. But yeah, that's that battle. Well done by Ishii, really caught me off guard with some of his sets and the team building. Really good game. This is going to be a 2-0 for me, and we can move on to our next battle, which is going to be Mike versus Zane. Mike walked away with a loss in his first week, so did Zane, so they're both seeking their first win here. We can hop into the battle. Oops, I had this on fast. I probably should have had mine on fast, but... leading here, we got Rotomo versus the Alola Ninetales. Volt Switch shows off that this is the Scarfer. That's something interesting with Item Claws. You can learn really quick who the Scarfers are. And we're going to get a Blizzard and a Freeze Dry to knock the Blastoise down pretty low, but Flash Can's going to come through and take out the Alola Ninetales. Going to see the White Herb, so this is obviously a Shell Smash Blastoise. And Earthquake's going to go ahead and take the Blastoise KO there. And Chesnaugh's going to come in. I think he probably should have just gone hard Chesnaught. Unless he was just like afraid of a hard prediction Gunk Shot or something. I think he probably would have, in hindsight, would have preferred to have Blastoise as a sack as opposed to, like, you know, what happens here. So Chesnaught's going to come in, get the Mega Evolution off, knock off Charlotte's Citrus Berry. Now, immediately here, this looks like such a good matchup for Mega Chesnaught. Dragonite, even Dual Wing Beat's not going to be doing a lot to it. Triple Axle, I think, is the best move Charlotte can go for. Snorlax isn't going to be doing a lot. Crocodile, Gunk Shot's maybe the best, and I doubt that's even like a 2-hit KO. And then Starmie could, but it's like he has tools to kind of work around Starmie. So this is looking like a really good Chesnaught matchup immediately. Gonna get the Starmie switch in, take a lot of damage from that U-turn into the Snorlax, which is going to force it out into the Chesnaught. Crunch is doing 0 damage, and then we're going to get the Body Press breaking the multi-scale on Dragonite. Now, at this point, I'm like, man, was this going to be like Dual Wing Beat, Dragon Dance, Dragonite? This is not going to get past this in a million billion years. Bust out the Air Slash. That is super big. I really love that because this game gets away from you fast if you don't have that special Dragonite, Mike. So really good set there. The flinch matters and it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think that Dragonite was going to have, like, it was going to get hit with anything that would have changed the course of the battle. So that's big. Psychic and Scald is going to come out here picking up the Serena. Another nice thing to get out of there because it's going to give Rotomo a little bit more runways. We'll see later. These two guys are just going to get in each other's way. Like, neither can really break the other, but the Dragon Tail is actually going to bring out something that I guess this Garchomp doesn't want to see, even though he's prepared for it with the Ice Beam, Yachi Berry. I thought that was really good, but he's also going to he's going to have the Haban Berry block his Dragon Tail's damage. So really good prep on both sides there. Rocks are going to go up, which is going to make this a harder battle for Zane. He does have clearing, so that is something that helps. Bust out the Scarf Will-O-Wisp from Rotom there, also really good. And then I think this Garchomp comes in and just tries to shuffle some stuff. Oh no, he gets up his own rocks. Smart. But he's going to go down to that waterfall. Not that Mike has a lot of other options. Now this is interesting because he has shown that he is Choice Scarf Rotom. I figured Rotom would come out here and kind of threaten, but I think Zane ends up playing it okay because he doesn't get pulled into the sucker punch games. He just goes for a Kowtow Cleave. I think this is good from two perspectives because the easiest thing for Mike to do would just be go hard into Crocodile, so I might as well try to get some damage off. And also, you don't really want to you don't want to play these games. If you can get damage, he must know he can live a Liquidation. Otherwise, he wouldn't do that. So I like the play to just go for it there. The Sub Recover set is not going to be able to get through this. Next time he's going to go down. Only 1 KO in 2 weeks. So not what I was personally hoping to see. But that's what it is. Now we're gonna get Zane trying to play around the Crocodile. That he doesn't have any good answers for, by the way, or at this point. So Rotomo's gonna come out, fire off a big Leaf Storm, get a crit. That's a really important crit. Obviously, to me, that looks like okay. Just follow up with another Leaf Storm and get rid of this Snorlax. He's gonna go for the Volt Switch, not enough to KO it after the drops. And Starmie's going to come in as the Snorlax goes for a rest. And now Zane has to get lucky with Sleep Talks. He's going to get rid of the rocks first, try to keep as much health on things as he can. Unfortunately, the Snorlax pulls a Crunch, which is going to put Starmie out of commission, and it's going to probably put Zane out of range of winning this game. Like maybe a Swords Dance here would have been something. Kowtow Cleave, a little bit of damage there. Going to protect, see what he's going for. He's operating under the assumption that this is Scarf. Turns out not to be. He switched. Oh no, he didn't switch moves at any point. Yeah. So ends up not being Scarf. Sucker Punch after the one more Fallen is not going to be able to get the KO. Not able to play around the Sucker Punches. And that's it for Zane. Zane goes down. Mike comes away with a big 3-0 win, getting one in the win column here. So good for him there, but that is going to lead us to our marquee match of the week.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
And I think for the second week in a row, this is Dakota coming with the marquee match this week. Now this is a longer one, so I'm going to try to keep up with it, but man, are we going to run. Okay, here we go. Meowscarada lead versus Corviknight. Goes for the U-turn right away. Ends up being Zoroark. So this is interesting because this is Choice Scarf Meowscarada. It's a bad play if he's not Choice Scarf Meowscarada because you're not able to play around the Hisuian Zoroark. I don't love this play from Zhang because, like, if it is actually Corviknight, I don't think knocking off is a bad play, so super risky. Unless he's Choice Scarf Zoroark, which I thought, oh, that must be why he goes for Flamethrower here onto the incoming Floette. But he's just able to follow up with the Sludge Bomb, get off a lot of damage. So just a risky play that he got most of a Floette out of it. Now we're going to get Cleavor as a follow-up as he goes for Stone Edge. Odd call, but as Zane admits it later in the chat, he just had the wrong move. He meant to have Stone Axe, ended up having Stone Edge. Orch is going to take advantage of that and come in and get up Stealth Rocks. Rotom Wash is going to come in to block this Weather Ball. Just go for a Volt Switch because there's no ground type on this team to stop him. Getting a little bit of momentum on this Meganium. Now, I will say I don't love this team's prep versus Meganium, as we'll see later in the game. Meowscarada going for a U-turn there is kind of the first indicator of some of the problems. And we're going to get just another volt switch on it. He's able to kind of keep it low and shipped down, but as you can see, U-turn being the best move to hit it. Does 26%. Synthesis is going to get basically all of that back. The game's looking in a really strong position. The other synthesis there, I also don't love that. You were already basically full. Maybe he was afraid of a Light of Ruin or something. Think in hindsight, he probably just would have liked to try to KO that Floette, because Floette's going to get back up a lot more healthy. I'm surprised to see Dazzling Gleam coming out, because I don't even think on the follow-up turn, like, Solar Beam would have KO'd there for sure. Because now he's got to burn a third synthesis here, as Floette's going to go down to that burn. And Mega Charizard, now Charizard's going to come out. If I'm Dakota here, I think this is the first thing he should have done to really apply some pressure, is he should have Dragon Danced without Mega Evolving, because he would resist basically any move Mega Meganiums run. They run Grass move, Fairy move, Earth Power Weather Ball, and then Synthesis. So I think he should, if he had it, I would have liked to see Charizard come in, stay in regular form, and Dragon Dance, as Politoed then would come in. Now you're +1, and then you can go for this follow-up Thunder Punch here. Not that it made a big difference. He just would have been +1/+1 potentially. Which I don't know if the speed matters for Basculegion. I had a calc up on the side here, so hang on one second. Just in theory, let's see. Charizard X, DD. This is also a moot point if he wasn't in fact DD. So he couldn't catch a Jolly Basculegion with Swift Swim, or even an Adamant one for that matter. So maybe it doesn't make a difference, but I still think that would have been the optimal play. Also, Dakota. So then on this play, I think Dakota should have switched, because he just stays in and eats a Wave Crash, and that's going to KO him. Dakota calc the Liquidation, was like, oh, I can live a Liquidation. Ends up being Wave Crash. You gotta be thorough with your calcs. Sucker Punch comes out here. Now this is Choice Scarf Meowscarada. This is splitting hairs, because it ends up not mattering, but I still think he should have been, assuming he had knockoff, he should have gone for knockoff, because Choice Scarf Meowscarada still outspeeds even Jolly Swift Swim Basculegion. So unless this is Swift Swim Scarf Basculegion, I don't see a good reason to go for Meowscarada to go for Sucker Punch over knockoff. That's just me, because you could also follow it up and knock off the Cleavor. He's going to go into Fortress to block that. I don't like this Fortress set, but, who am I to argue with someone who ended up winning their game here? So, Seed Bomb does some damage, dodges the Stone Axe. Poison Jab gets the poison, obviously trying to catch a Meganium potentially coming in there. Cleavor is going to remove the rocks as it goes down to poison. Corviknight's going to come out. We know this Fortress is kind of walled by this. He obviously doesn't know that it has Taunt. So good play by Zeng to have the Taunt to stop their hazards from going up. Body Press is going to do a decent chunk of damage. This Fortress can't do a lot. I think Dakota makes a good call here by going for the Rapid Spin, so that way he can outspeed the Taunt once it ends right here. And then, he doesn't even outspeed it. He just is able to get up the rocks. Body Press, I probably would have let Fortress go down there personally, and then it saves you some HP on Rotom Wash, because the fact that the biggest thing you can threaten with is Volt Switch is not great. Mousehold's going to come in and you turn out. I don't mind catching him in the cycle, keeping him a little bit low. Fortress is going to get sacked here to the Leech Seed. Meowscarada's going to come out. Now, this is this part of the game. Okay, I don't love this, so let's talk about a couple of things. One, I think this Meowscarada probably should have had something to hit the Meganium. I don't know if it gets Poison Jab. I know it gets Triple Axle. I kind of would have liked to see that come out. Maybe you guys are going to be like, oh, Triple Axle's inaccurate. He's got Mousehold on the team that only has to hit way more moves to be able to KO, and it's the same accuracy. So I don't think this team, as constructed, has good ways to deal with Mega Meganium. So he does just end up going for another U-turn. And now he's going to bring in Rotom Wash and Volt Switch to try to get some damage on this. But this Corviknight is able to, I'd say, comfortably live that and get it back up to almost full. Mousehold's going to come in and click U-turn. That's another unfortunate thing, because this Mousehold, if it had Encore, can win the game right here. It can just Encore Corviknight into Roost until it runs out of Roosts. Runs out of PP on that, and then Rotom can come in and Volt Switch and keep it low and get it out of there, right? So, kind of wish he would have done that, but I believe this Mousehold ends up being like, I think it might be Crunch, Population Bomb, Tidy Up, and U-turn. Body Press is going to come out on Rotom, do a little bit more damage. Volt Switch, another 50% that he's just going to be able to roost off. Big risk that Mousehold comes in. If this Mousehold goes down, there's no way for Meganium to be killed, really. Outside of like a crit U-turn from Meowscarada. So, big risk there. Population Bomb's going to come out. And so I'll tell you right now, I think he needed to get all 10 and maybe a crit mixed in. Let me just go to the previous turn here. So, after leftovers, yeah, he needed to get all 10 and maybe a crit mixed in to be able to get that. I ran the numbers because we're gonna play here. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he did get the crit in there, so that's big. If he had gotten the other two, then he'd be looking good. But even getting that, like the 7 that he got, that is a 47% chance to get 7. So it is more likely than not that he would have done less damage than this. I think it's you know what? I don't know the rest of this Meganium set here. Not important. I think if he had just killed this Mousehold, Zeng wins the battle. Because Meowscarada showed that the most damage it can do is a U-turn. Rotom can't do enough to it. It probably could have gotten one more synthesis back up and been able to wall the remaining 2. And Zeng goes for the Roost here. Don't love that play. U-turn's obviously going to do no damage as the Rotom comes back in. Didn't need to go for Iron Head. Could have just gone for a Body Press. Again, it's stronger against everything on the team. Body Press does get a crit on Meowscarada here, so the crit matters just because he would have been able to knock off Corviknight's leftovers potentially. So pretty unfortunate, but good news for Dakota is that means Corviknight didn't roost, so he is going to be able to kill it with a Volt Switch. And now we're here with Meganium. Based on my calcs, this Mousehold had to hit at least 3 Population Bombs. There's about a 71% chance to do so. So that's what this battle comes down to. If he doesn't hit at least 3, then I don't know if I lost feed there. Okay, my screen just flickered, so I don't know if you guys saw it on your end. Also, I don't even know if I have this framed right. Oh man, that looked like shit the whole time. Sorry guys. Probably just listen anyways. Yeah, so that's what this comes down to. And he does hit 1, 2, 3 pop bombs. Meganium goes down. Really close game. I think both players made some mistakes in both team building and play, but overall, really close game. It's also tough because I don't want to be too hard on people because this is kind of a weird format where you have much more limited items and limited mons. So take this as constructive, like just analysis. It's not even criticism, just analysis of what's going on. So hopefully nobody takes anything personally there. Let's hop over to the standings. This is the schedule for next week. We got Dakota versus Zane. Zane winless, Dakota undefeated. Let's see if that trend continues. We got Zeng versus Ishii. I think in the same boat, right? Yeah, both of those two guys are winless. One person's going to be coming away with their first win of the season. And me versus Mike, top 2 draft picks, big scary water guys. So we'll see where that goes. Not draft board, schedule standings. Do I not have a standings tab? I'll fix that. I'll fix that later that I don't have. It's silly that I don't have it. But I believe technically I'm in first. Dakota, or actually no, me and Dakota are tied because I think it's a Oh no, Dakota's actually ahead of me. He's got a 2-0, and I've got a 1-0 and a 2-0. So Dakota's in first, I'm in second, and Dakota pointed out to me, just this might not end up being the case, but him and I don't play each other until the last week of the season. So as things are trending right now, that could potentially just be a game for the number 1 seed going into the tournament, which is only supposed to be 2 players. I don't know. We'll see if we want to. No, there's no point in doing. This is going to be 2 players. It's going to be this and this, because it doesn't make sense to me to do. What color is that supposed to be? That color? No. That color? No. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me to do like a 4-game playoff if there's 6 teams, personally. So we're just gonna kind of wrap this up after that. Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say. Ad drops went in. We did those. I picked up Pokemon. I picked up Gorgeist, dropped Garbodor, who I didn't bring to a single game, but just being able to be more fluid with transactions is something that I've been enjoying. Zhang drops Mega Alakazam and gets Emboar. So I think I'm the only team in the league now who doesn't have 2 Megas. Oh, that's not true. Dakota doesn't have 2 Megas. Oh, no, Zane doesn't have 2 Megas either. Okay. So still about half the teams have 2 Megas, half the teams have have 1 Mega. So we'll see if that ends up being a consistent trend through the rest of the season. So thank you everyone for listening. See you next week. Goodbye.